Hello everybody, Billy Tucci here, and I want you all to know that Fantastic Comics in Berkeley is the best effing comic shop in the United States of America, maybe the world! Booyah!
Or not to state the obvious, but you yourself are black, African American. I mean, isn't the KKK opposed to your race?
See, I knew you were going to try that. You haven't been listening to me, son. This is the new Klan, okay? Let me show you something.
We accept a one of us. We accept a one of us. Gooba gobble, gooba gobble. We accept her, we accept her. Gooba gobble, gooba gobble.
Mom! Jenny ate my corn on the cob!
No, I didn't. He's lying.
Now, kids. Jenny, why don't you get us dessert?
I love you, little brother.
I love you, sis.
Beautiful kids.
Now, Desmond, you do smoke, ganja at home, don't you?
Oh, yeah, man. We smoke that shit all the time.
What knockers?
Oh, thank you, Doctor.
Tell me, Senator, did you nurse Catherine yourself?
What?
Did you breastfeed her?
Now, wait a minute.
Yes, I did.
Toughened your nipples, didn't it?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Amputate a man's leg and he can still feel it tickling. Tell me, Mom, when your little girl is on the slab, where will it tickle you?
Take this thing back to Baltimore.
That's brilliant, man. I wish I would have hung out with you, Yule, in the day.
Wait! Hey, mas! Eat!
Hello, everyone. I am a park ranger, and I will be leading you on the tour. All of the park rangers here at Alcatraz were at one time guards, myself included. My name is John Johnson, but everyone here calls me Vicky. Will you please follow me?
Well, President Trump says he wants to reopen the notorious Alcatraz prison off the coast of California to house America's worst of the worst.
This is the main cell block area, home to such famous criminals as Al Capone, Mickey Cohen, Joseph Dutch Kritzer, and Robert Stroud, the famous Birdman of Alcatraz.
It's long been a symbol, Alcatraz, of whatever it is. I mean, you know, it's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order. And, you know, it's got quite a history, frankly. So I think we're going to do that, and we're looking at it right now.
This is the cell for solitary confinement that over the years had come to be known as Times Square. Make sure everyone gets a look.
The president says he wants to reopen Alcatraz because he's frustrated with judges who have placed roadblocks on parts of his agenda, especially on immigration. The president saying on Truth Social, for too long, America has been plagued by vicious, violent, and repeat criminal offenders, the dregs of society who will never contribute anything other than misery and suffering. That is why today I am directing the Bureau of Prisons together with the Department of Justice, FBI, and Homeland Security to reopen a substantially enlarged and rebuilt Alcatraz to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders.
Now, this is something the other tour guides won't tell you. In this particular cell block, Machine Gun Kelly had what we call in the prison system a bitch. And one night, in a jealous rage, Kelly took a makeshift knife, or shiv, and cut out the bitch's eyes.
Hey, you know another thing about Harriet I love?
And as if this wasn't enough retribution for Kelly, the next day, he and 4 other inmates took turns pissing into the bitch's ocular cavities. This way to the cafeteria.
Now back to Alcatraz. The Bureau of Prisons said it will comply with Trump's order to reopen the prison. It was closed in 1963 because of high maintenance and supply costs.
Fade in. Exterior. Unnamed city. Day. The hustle and bustle is a symphony of progress. We pan past windows, each of which contain a different story. To find J.C. Lakeham's 28. Hot, but doesn't know it. J.C. stops when her high heel gets caught in the grating of a sewer. Suddenly, a man steps in the frame and points a gun at her. This is not her day. Fade to black. Title: 3 weeks earlier.
You, looking at that couple inside?
Actually, I was just looking at this little pink number over here.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. They look happy, don't they?
What, the bras?
No, the couple. They look happy.
I guess, as far as couples go.
You know, it reminds me of an issue of Spider-Man I did when Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy went lingerie shopping. Of course, the Green Goblin showed up, and he pumpkin bombed the hell out of the place. But aside from that, it's pretty much the same thing.
Oh my God. Holy shit! Aren't you?
Oh, Stanley. Hi.
Alan Moore, you wrote my favorite issues of Radioactive Man.
Oh, really? So you like that I made your favourite superhero a heroin-addicted jazz critic who's not radioactive?
I don't read the words. I just like when he punches people. How do you make his costume stick so close to his muscles?
I took these out of every single garment in the store.
What?
They're desiccates. See, they absorb moisture. These clothes won't last 5 years without them.
That's not gonna do anything.
Patience.
All right, forget it.
What?
You have screwed me again, pennypacker.
All right, come out or I'll blast you out.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and dances full of pep. We're gonna start with Hacha. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king.
Hail to the king, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. For those of you that don't know, I didn't know I was going to go right on into this. Thanks for joining us. For those of you that don't know,
my name is Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. That's how you spell my name right here. I own Fantastic Comics, have since 2011 when we opened for the very first time. I was actually writing in a book earlier today about some of that. And I guess it's tying in all of a sudden now. Yeah, so since 2011, I've been selling funny books at the downtown Berkeley area. I was more downtown than I am now, but there's better parking. Unless it's the second Wednesday of the month, and you have to really pay attention to what side of the street you're on. Or, you know, if you want a nice little walk, a couple blocks or more away from the local BART station, we have a bus stop right out in front. Come on in. Open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. I'm going to be talking about some comics that are coming out next week. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that would normally be here. Maybe will be later, depending on what happens. But there's a big basketball game going on as far as this area is concerned. I don't have a horse in this race. I guess for my... Do people spend more when they're upset or when they're happy? I think they spend more right after when they're happy and maybe more later when they're upset. How's that? If tomorrow's late, go other team. I'm just joking. Yeah, so we're going to get together. We're going to talk about some comics that are coming out tomorrow. I'm going to tell you about the comics that were the best of last week. And got a few other segments that we might get to. Depends on what happens with the chat, how engaged we all are. And I'm going to talk about Free Comic Book Day, Fantastic Comics Free Comic Book Day. Who knows if that is going to be anything that anybody is going to be promoting in the future. Let's find out. We'll just talk about it. See what we think. See how it's gone. Let's see what we think might actually happen. We're just going to responsibly talk about this. It's not going to be anything other than that. All right, we have a segment I have not taken away yet, but it's really going to just be a lead into a Gizmo and other videos. I'm not talking about wrestling because I'm really not paying attention, but I heard there was a real good match last night with Seth Rollins versus champion John Cena. Is it John Cena? No, Jey Uso. That's who it was. And yeah, so if you want to see Seth Rollins lose to Jey Uso, I'm just assuming because I haven't watched it. Check that out. Otherwise, there was a lot of people that were released, a lot of people you don't know, never were going to know. And if you know Braun Strowman, that's probably the only person you know. Boy, how dare you, Yule? I was a Dakota Kai fan. Me too. And it's a shame. But she's brittle, and she had to go anyway. This time. Now, speaking of someone that has to go, we're going to talk about my buddy. I bring him to the store every week. You get to see him. There's usually a little bit of conversation about him here in the show on the show. Did I bring up the pic though? I did. Isn't this a cute pic of him earlier today? I went to the effort of cleaning this dirty dog, and let me tell you, the filth was just draining off him in the sink. And I don't know. I feel like I must have pissed him off or something. But I wasn't there the entirety of the day, and maybe he didn't get his proper walks. But everything's cool. He sometimes sleeps in the bed with me, but only in as long as until Jill comes in, and then we put him in his bed, which is down on the floor. So he doesn't get to stick around, and he has like his own little blanket. So there's his blanket on top of my blanket. And so, we sleep, and I always say how funny it is how like he starts at one end and he kind of ends up at the end, and a lot of times his ass is kind of in my face. And my goodness, when I got woken up around 3:00, Jill's coming to bed. Gonna let me, sometimes I wake up early, I throw him off into his bed, or she ends up doing it. She came in, and I don't know, I was super freaking groggy, and I don't know, the only thing I could do is like clip a show that kind of reminded me of the situation. Okay, so I was really more asleep, okay, then Jill came in and was like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what she said. She said, this is horrible, don't move, blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I'm kind of like, what? It seems that Gizmo took a dump on the bed near my head on his blanket, right? And I know there was at least one time I went to sleep. I woke up a little and I said, hey, Gizmo, come on over here, because I don't usually have to coax him to come on over here. And I know I tapped his blanket. Now, I must have done it near my leg because I searched later on. But yeah, he totally took a deuce in the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, Jesus. And so when I was going through that Always Sunny clip, there was another part to it that I thought was pretty funny, and I feel like this is kind of Gizmo.
My God! Why would you do that, dude? Because poop is funny.
Well, I guess poop is very funny.
Poop is
pooping on the floor. It is funny. That was a good. You know what? Well played, my man. Yeah. Well played.
That's funny.
I hate my life.
Yeah. Seriously, dude, don't ever poop in our bed again.
Don't ever poop in our bed again, or we're gonna have a problem, right? That's your wrestling minute. I hope I did wrestling an honor there. Oh, what's going on? Something's burning. Thanks, everybody, for joining me. I don't know if I said that before. And to everybody that shows up afterwards, I want to say to each and every one of you...
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
All right, let's talk about some comics that came out last week that were worth a damn. Were there any that were worth a damn? Let me know in the comments down below or in chat if you're live. We're going to take a look at some picks, but one last time. Isn't that a cute guy? I'm going to turn off my camera for some symmetry. Best of last week, starting off. Why maybe, just me. Well, it's selling well, don't get me wrong. I might also be pushing this just a little bit harder than I would normally. Actually, it was kind of a slow week anyway. But the friend of the show, friend of the store, soon to be friend of the store, and maybe someday friend of Yule. Joe Casey's Weapon X-Men. I mean, I know I butchered it, so that's probably not going to happen with that review of it. Number 3, I read it. It was pretty good issue. Chris Cross is doing an excellent job, and there were some parts in this book where he really was doing an excellent characterization, emotions, anger, feeling. I really liked his Thunderbird. Like, Thunderbird's never going to be like, oh man, wouldn't it be great to see a Thunderbird series? No, it will never be good to be a Thunderbird series, but it would be really cool if, like, a really good writer and a guy like Chris Cross was doing Thunderbird for like 6 or 7 or 8 issues, or I don't know, how long could something like that go? I would like to see a Marvel magazine, maybe like in black and white, all the Savage Sword of Conan, and maybe they could like focus on characters like, Master of Kung Fu again, Thunderbird, now that he's alive, would be a really good, side story. I think that would be really cool. That kind of reminds me. This is the worst of last week. I guess last week Butch Geist died. Jackson Geist, Butch Geist. When I first found his artwork, it was on the Micronauts. Micronauts was kind of lagging. And then they went into the direct sales only method, which was, they only had like 3 books that did that: Moon Knight, Kazar, and Micronauts. I could be wrong. There might be another one, but those were the ones I remember. So like you had to be at a comic store in order to buy that. You couldn't buy that on the newsstand anymore. And I had started buying it at like 7-Eleven. I remember there was Marionette is in like an electric chair. Is it Marionette or Bug? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Oh, and then there was that like Zoot Suit era or cover where they're like in the... Anyway, eventually one of those issues, they start becoming direct sales only, and I was getting them, and I think it was just a fantastic book. And Butch Geist was pretty much like, that was his first stuff. And over the years, he did the Amy Grant suing Marvel issues of Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. You can only get that picture in the cover of the book. If you get the reprint, it covers it up. If you get the graphic novel or the epic edition, whatever you want to call it, covers her face up. Even now, it's the Satanic Verses story, by the way. So definitely, oh my goodness, let's make something. Go look online right now and make sure you buy it before it's worth a shit ton because I said something. Anywho, he would be a really good artist, or would have been a really good artist, to do a black and white, magazine style story. Butch Geist is excellent. He did Captain America with Brubaker. He was the second artist, or maybe Michael Lark was, something like that. And did Flash. If you read the Wally West, Mike Baron Flash. Yeah, Wally West, man. Anyway, RIP. Number 5. Weapon X-Men. Jeez, that was horrible, y'all. Number 4, this came in late, and I'm almost sold out, and I don't have the Frazetta covers anymore, so why bother showing it? RIP Greg Hildebrandt. And this is an awesome, awesome issue. It's $14.99, and I swear you'll never feel like you threw any of the money away. It's really good. There's so much stuff. This was kickstarted. I did not partake in it, but I did purchase it, and I had to get it through Diamond. And sometimes these Diamond things, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be getting anymore, but I'm still putting in the orders. But Heavy Metal #1, and it's really great. It's got Inky Bilal doing stuff in it. It's got a Jim Rugg UFO story. What's the city? It was like Kekstan, Pennsylvania. And fantasy. There's some Tarna stories. One's by Joseph Michael Linsner. This is a crazy good book. I highly recommend coming in and getting any of the covers I have left, because I don't have very many of these books left anyway. So if you're a fan of this type of thing, you should definitely get it. We're taking everyone down with us. Number 2 comes in at number 3. I'm almost sold out of it. I am almost sold out of the second print, which means we're this close to raffling off the we're taking everyone down with us #1 variant that I got sent. Only retailers got this, and there's this really, really nice message in it where he's talking to the retailers, where Matthew Rosenberg, maybe in the finest bit of writing he's ever done, he talks about sales and understanding what it's like to be on the side of the counter of trying to sell a comic book, and understanding what, as a reader, as a creator, as a store, what you can possibly expect from a book. And, he just really sells you on it in one, it's a bunch of paragraphs, but in a way that sung to me. in such a way that I was like, you know, I'm not always a big fan of, like, at least what the style of the Matthew Rosenberg books there are out there. And I just don't really want to screw around with them. He did X-Men, and I don't really blame him for all of what happened, but it's just not his fault. But this was a really good first issue, and by all accounts, the second issue is just about to sell out. And this is a strong contender. It's good little mini series that we got going here. Strong contender for what? I don't know. Could it possibly be a Yulee Award winner next year? Who knows? Coming in at number 2, this whole One World Under Doom thing. If it's a main title, if it's a title that, you know, people might care about, it's doing really well. Fantastic Four has been doing well anyway. It's one of my cigarette books. The One World Under Doom keeps selling out. I sold out in number 3, had to get more in. Sold out in number 2 after I sold out in number 1. After I sold out in number 1 second prints. It's just doing really well for me. And I have customers that are getting caught up and are letting me know that although there has been some buildup, because this is a 9-issue series, this One World Under Doom, 9 months, there has to be, you know, a bit of a slow buildup. And there's like an explanation for all the stuff that's going on with Doom and all the stuff that's, you know, anyway, there's things going on. And Fantastic Four is one of the books you probably have to get it, or are already getting it if you're buying One World Under Doom. Lastly, well, on a very slow week, Ultimate Spider-Man makes it in the top spot. Not only is it well received by the critics, more importantly, it's well received by the customers. They keep coming in and buying it. I keep selling the trades. I sell other Ultimate books, I think, based on the strength of this book. And it does a really, really good job selling itself and other books. And I think Jonathan Hickman's doing a really great job. I'm only caught up with issue number 15. So I only have this one to go. That last one was excellent. So I can't wait to, I mean, Mysterio is going to be involved. I'm down. And that is Fantastic Comics Best of last week. We didn't get Savage Sword of Conan in, so I kind of got screwed there. I know there was something like Dynamite that didn't come in. It's probably just, it's always going to be Dynamite for the most part, you know, going forward. So, I don't know what to say. You know what? I do know what to say, but I'm only going to say it to you guys out there. What am I going to say?
We didn't come to borrow any money. We didn't come to borrow any dough. We didn't come to borrow any trouble. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh, hello to you, Mr. Manny. Please don't think that we are hammy. We just stopped in from Alabama. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh boy, you said it. We just stopped in to say hello. And don't forget it. We just stopped in to say hello. And I'm hello. Hello. Goodbye.
You know, even though we're monetized, I get nailed for that clip. So if you're interested at all, you might know that we have a Patreon account. At the end of the show, I'm going to let you know about all the people that are members. And I don't know, something. Maybe I'll play a video. You know, it's what I usually do. Cheers, everybody. All right, first comment. Oh, first up. Yo, Fcbd ain't never going away. Someone out there will keep it alive. Well, I think that's true. I mean, I've been saying for a long time, I mean, well over 20 years now, First Saturday in May, first Saturday in May, first Saturday in May. I'm wearing the little band, first Saturday in May. I'm putting up a thing in the window, first Saturday in May. When's Free Comic Book Day? First Saturday in May. Is it this number? I don't know. It's the first Saturday in May. Sometimes it landed on May the 4th be with you that day. Not this one. We had 3 consecutive holidays. Cheers to us. Do you celebrate the date or do you celebrate the day? 4th Monday in June or the 25th of June? When did it happen? Doesn't matter. Erica Sullivan, I miss you on the Comics Aficionados. I'll be back someday. Oh, will you be coming back anytime soon? Soon? How was Free Comic Book Day? My LCS was busy. 25% off everything. So I finally got that hardcover, the Inkall, for $37. Good job in Gizmo. I hope you like the Gizmo story, Eric. That's a good walking going to work story. In the other room, hello, Jolie Pill says. Elithalor, hey all. Roxanne Foster, now I'm getting to know everybody. Hello. Thanks for the great day last Saturday. Last Saturday was awesome. I had the bright idea. So I had a big bank issue sale a few weeks ago for my birthday. I guess, a month or so ago. And that did really well. But I mean, we were blowing out awesome books. And I can't believe the awesome books that are still around. They ain't going to be priced that awesome ever again. So it's going to take a while to get that stuff out. And probably some back home. Sorry. I'm saying that to Jill. No, it's not going to be like that. But this week, I was doing biographic novels. You buy 3 of them, and the cheapest one is free. Boom. So I moved some graphic novels that way. I'm pretty happy. And I also brought up, or with my help, or with some help, brought up all the dollar boxes that we've been saving up and putting things in, and haven't had it since winter was going on. So like as soon as it seemed like rainy or just wet, there's precipitation, I'm not going to put them out on tables. And we had a lot building up. So what I did was they were $1 a piece. And we had short boxes that I had some short boxes that, if you buy collections, you get a short box. Buy a collection, you get some more short boxes. I had a bunch of short boxes. And although I used these ones, not the drawer boxes, but the top loaders that we all know from forever, I put them out there and said, those are $30. So I had one guy come in. Very rarely see him, but definitely every Free Comic Book Day. He has his family. They get a bunch of free comics. They have a good time. They were going through the dollar books, and he came in, and it was like $22 it comes out to. And I'm like, $30, and you can fill an entire short box. And so he took that offer. And I thought, wow, that was a really good price, because initially I wanted to do 40, but that just, it's not the idea. Is to cheaply make some money and give away a lot of stuff that, really the best it can do is get someone back into it if they haven't been reading. Otherwise, it's just going to sit. And that was pretty cool. And I hope the sound is better now. I haven't seen anything yet. Or they spend to be happy. That's right. They spend to be happy. I mean, I did when June 25th, many years happened, pre-Gizmo. When June 25th happened, I went out and I bought a Dodger hat, and then I bought a Laker hat. And the Lakers the very next day signed Shaquille O'Neal. Jesus. LeBron James. So many things happen with the Lakers, like getting bounced in the first round. Fill the kill. We'll hash it out. That's right. Jagron, hey, evening. Hope everyone is doing good. I'm doing well. Also, Manuel, not wrestling minuting us sounds like something wrong with the comics industry. Well, I mean, we talked about people leaving. I just don't have time to watch that right now. I told somebody during Free Comic Book Days, how are things going with the show? I'm all, it's pretty good. We got about 1,500 people subscribed. He's, oh, that's really good. I'm like, yeah, it's like 1150. So I don't know. Maybe I should do something to make, not necessarily, just so that there's more subscribers. I don't know. I mean, I love talking to y'all, and I have all my customers that I'm talking to. And again, that's like definitely the conceit of the show, is that I have a few friends out there that I don't really know. And I have my customers out there that I don't really know. Just joking. But definitely let me know what your favorite books are down below. I was surprised Jim from Weird Science finally responded to email I sent to him. I've been listening to Jim as he goes live more recently. And I don't know if like somehow I'm finally getting the notifications, but I'm going to put Yule's Faves, which is getting really long, but Weird Science is up there. And he is usually on early enough to where I'm either at home and I'm doing work on the computer so I can listen to him and I can like bounce over and like make a comment, or I'm at work and I'm basically doing the same thing. There's a lot of being on the computer all the time, which also really makes me question about how much I really want to make this channel any bigger. But I'm really happy. I think that's one of the things, he's going for it again, and I'm really enjoying listening to his conversations, whether I'm involved in it or not. Yeah, Gizmo left a gift. That's what it is. All right, looks like you guys love that story. Was it solid with fissures or was it saucer? You have to ask Jill. She'll let you know in the Jill does have it. She came in and she's all, the place smells like what the heck? And she's like looking around, so she's Mac. And she's looking around in the sheets, and then she sees, and it's like but it's right near my head. Can you believe that? I mean, if I rolled over, I know, yes. The Amber Heard of the dog world. How's your father? They're not supposed to ask where they sleep. I know, man. This is crazy. Gizmo's not going to poop in the bed anymore. He's going to piss in it. I have this friend, and this was back in the days when we used to get really high and just kind of hang out, and maybe we had jobs during that time, or I don't know. But we had this one friend's dog, and we got him pretty high. I mean, he's just kind of like in the room anyway, and then you look at him, he's kind of like he wants something from you, and he's just looking at you. And then you look back at him, and he's looking at you, and you're like right in its face. Anyway, we got it really loaded, and we got yelled at by our friend about him the next day having pissed all over the place. And it wasn't even really just pissing in the place. My friend's like, dog, Calvin, what? And Calvin's like looking right at my friend and lifts the leg up and just starts pissing like like a little willful bitch. It lit the door. Heavy Metal shit the bed with the Kickstarter, but at least they're trying to make it right. Well, I don't know anything about that, but what a great book. I hope they print enough copies to be able to make the money. It was a really, really good book. I hope they can do another one because they have some open-ended stories in it, and it was really, really good. If you like science fiction, if you like fantasy, if you like within those things, the elements of high art, Inky Bilal, man, like that's classic European stuff. It's like it's legit. So definitely check that out. We're taking everyone down with us is really good. The Crisis Events book was really bad. How many moochers did you get for Fcbd? Well, there was this one or two bums. We also had some donuts that I bought, and then I had a neighbor from across the street bring some like little apple like strudels or something, and I put those out also. So there was like a bum or two, but I mean, in our section of Berkeley, it's hardly a thing. But I was definitely like this, watching, and they were like picking up some free comics, and it wasn't bad. I mean, there's only a few people. I mean, it's imposing and weird when there's like a store full of people and it's a small store anyway. But I had a lot of compliments and a lot of people that were really happy that we were still around. So overall, it was really good, and I was happy to have done it. Going back to Fcbd, it has been shrinking anyway, or I have seen the offerings from Diamond, who is the owner, or at least co-owner of the Fcbd name. I think along with Joe Field and maybe another person. They kind of like are the fathers of the company, or of the Fcbd company. That's probably part mostly of Diamond, which has had a lot of problems in actually selling their company to some other entity, and has finally settled on somebody that was not the original Alliance, which is not Alliance Games, but Alliance Entertainment. And for less money, another company bought Diamond. And I think the main reason is because Diamond wants to continue being operating as a distributor of comic books and other things like they do. And probably Alliance was going to hole out the company and just use it for the parts that it's worth. Because really, I'm not exactly sure what Diamond's worth anymore. And without them, Free Comic Book Day is basically just anybody that I order comic books from putting out a free comic book day. They could put it out anytime. If they get together and do it on a day, they don't have to call it Free Comic Book Day. And, it could just be something else. In fact, there have been many a store that don't give a shit about buying the Free Comic Book Day books because they do cost money, and we are giving them away for free. But up until the time when we were getting our books from other places, we were only getting them from Diamond, and we were getting reamed by shipping prices if you bought a lot of stuff. Like I had a giant store. We had 500, bought for the library also 1,000, 1,500 of one book, and I know that's not a big store. We're talking about a real store. You're in LA, you're in New York, Chicago, but I mean, for our area, I was one of the bigger, stores that was doing something like that. Now we're much more modest. But no, we didn't really get too many moochers, and it was a really good day. I mean, Free Comic Book Day is always a really good day. I just don't know, without Diamond or without the we'll see what happens. I don't have real answers as far as it's concerned, but I'm sure there's going to be something. Until the day Marvel doesn't give a shit anymore. Marvel gives Marvel must-haves out other months of the year. So they give free comics out all the time. DC, as they've been doing their all-in initiative, have made it available for me to buy their all-in books, at least the first 3 issues of them, get a larger amount of books for cheaper if I make a certain amount. So in that way, I'm kind of getting free comic books. But Marvel, they just sent it to you. I have no idea it's coming in. It's coming in. I think Penguin Random House kind of is like forcing their hand to do it, actually, because it's free shipping, and I don't have to buy it. It's just they're putting out stuff so that they can sell their library of books, or what they hope to have a library of books to sell. And I think it's smart, make your fans say, oh, I haven't read Born Again in a while. And it's along with this Red Hulk story, and it's along with this Spider-Gwen story. Maybe my kid will want to read the Spider-Gwen story, and stuff like that. Oh, I didn't see what. Are we talking about heavy metal was okay? I don't know. Maybe I missed. Oh, wait. It doesn't matter. You can fill me in. Let's see. Space. Oh, this is the one. Space. Oh, it comes out this week. Yes, it comes out this week. Does it come out this week though, Dwayne? That's the question. Geez, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to take a look when I get in tomorrow. Maybe I could do it later. You know what? Let me make a note of this right now. If I had like a or someone to like do the commentary, they could write this down. So yeah, I'll take a look. Was Black Canary Best of the Best number 6? It got delayed. No, we had it come. It came in. I'm pretty sure it came in. Oh wait, no, it comes out this week. That's the problem. I see books before they come out. Yeah, it comes out this week. No, I never get your voicemails. I don't. You want to know? You want to know? I don't know how to work the machine. But let's pimp for you, man. I had a big weekend. Did a 2-hour stream. Help on what? On what, Lane? On what? Hellbat 1/4 scale statue. God damn, these things are expensive, people. I just want you to know. And then unboxed a Darth Vader Sith appearance for another hour Sunday. Jeez. See, I can't do that. Was doing a lot of lifting and unboxing and doing boxes. Do you get a lot of hits when you're doing that with? I mean, it's not even your channel, right? What's the deal? Since Yule has a bad sniffer, I guess I can freely fart in front of him when I'm at the store next time. I always exhibit self-control, but now that I know I can decompress freely. Well, I mean, yeah, you can, but there's still an element of your shit hanging in the air that I don't like, Do you ever notice, like they say, like if you have your toothbrush available to the world, a lot of people have it on their sink, just kind of sitting out. That poo, it gets in there. You know what I mean? I know I put water underneath my toothbrush too, but I've never put it through the washing machine. Have you? I'm not that kind of person, I don't think. But it's okay. I just, poo air is not my favorite thing, And Trump wants to bring all these manufacturers back. They want to make iron again. There's still tire fires going from back in those days, right? Dog farts smell the worst, Spider Guy says. Yeah. If I had to label these guys, this smell, it would be gamey stink. Let's see, Roxanne. Was the young man at the table your son? The young man at my table. Well, oh no, God no. That guy has way more melanin than I do. That's right. He's just a man helper. He's just he's more of a friend now, I guess, right? I don't force it. I have not. He doesn't do register stuff. He just helps me out downstairs, and he has a little budding enterprise of selling shit online, like most people these days, right? Getting reamed from shipping prices. You're telling me when I ordered comic drawer boxes, the shipping prices cost as much as 2 sets of those bastards. And that's with the discount. Holy cow, cow, cow. Yeah, I know. The last time I ordered boxes, and I still have some, was the last time with the last shipping bit. Oh, here we go. The whole thing again. The Batman Hellbat quarter on godlike statues. So go check out godlike statues if you're down to see what Lane or Jagron here has unboxed in front of the world. It's a statue focused channel. I've been unboxing Hot Toys figures on collecting weekly channels for a few years. Oh, the collecting weekly channel. Got you. So yeah, go check those out if you're interested. I mean, I can't afford. I mean, I know Lane works a lot. So he has to drive a long way to get to where he goes. But these statues, holy cow. CW just passed 75,000, so they're doing pretty good. Awesome. Now that's way to go. Trump, yes, he wants to bring smelting back. Yule has an intern, Yule America. If it was Yule America, it'd be a child workforce. A permanent intern. Well, he won't leave. There's been times where I'm like, he's in here often, so he might be listening later, but he knows. I mean, this is all just kidding around love, but oh my God, sometimes. Oh, I got the Spider-Punk hot toy. You gonna bring it in? You gonna bring it in? I can do a little video and I can put it on the show, get some views on this thing. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm really happy to talk about some new comics that are coming out. In fact, I'm going to show the whole video here.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, something big going on somewhere?
It's going on right here. It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
That's right. The calendar is full of them. And it looks like I'm still on, so we're doing okay. Let's do first Wednesday in May, everybody. So, even though there's going to be double-digit numbers going into next week, it will be the second Wednesday in May. Next week. This week, you're fine. Park anywhere you want. Man, I'm really excited. All right, so I want to let everybody know that I can get pretty jaded when it comes to comic books. I've been ordering, there was a time in between when I wasn't ordering comic books and I was unemployed. And I was making some good Obama unemployment money. It was really great times. I went to Disneyland. I saw PWG shows. Everybody was alive. It was a good time. Anyway, a lot of weed. All the stories have a lot of weed. But the Disneyland time, that was really good. But I've been ordering comic books. Before I quit Comic Relief, I was ordering comic books for like a year, maybe more. It was a day when Todd was doing this. We had this banister that, and all the banisters have mirrors on them, or ceiling columns, And we had a center desk in the middle. This is Comic Relief. And Todd was doing ordering. And this was not an uncommon thing for Todd to do. And he would just like, bam, 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 bam. And finally it's like, Todd, what is the matter? And finally I took on ordering. And I mean, I've been doing it a long time now. You know, usually there's somebody else that does it. And the only time I let other people do it, I didn't get my Doctor Strange, the chronic variant cover. I have it now. Don't worry about it. And I only had to spend $10 for it, plus shipping and handling. I mean, the store did. I was so upset. How could we not order that? That's the one of all the ones other than the Snoop Dogg one. Anyway, I got it. I see a lot of ordering, a lot of time. You know, I've been, this sucks, turn the page. 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 All of those things I probably put a number down for. You know what I mean? Sucks, 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 sucks. But there was a time when I would look at previews when I would just check in books. And so we get the books in, get the books that are going to be coming out for next week in the order also, which was something that happened. First looks is what we called them. First looks for Marvel. First looks for DC. You would know going into next week if a book was worth the shit from Marvel or DC. Isn't that awesome? First looks. They don't do that anymore. I was always a week ahead on most of the books. And I was doing the pricing for the back issues of recent books. And I was really heavily, I mean, I got to do a Wizard episode someday when I'm talking about back issues. I was really keeping up with that and kind of working some magic along with Wizard. It was really great stuff. And I dream of those days again. Never going to happen. The closest we get is Comic Tom 101. Go buy something on the internet, everybody. Oh, I saw a video. I think I'm going to go in and I'm going to go buy that book. New comics this week. There's going to be some really, really great things coming up. And you know what? Some of the things on this week are pretty darn good also. Storm. Why, this is the second issue in a row, if I remember correctly, where Thor, the God of Thunder, is in this book. And it sells pretty darn well, along with all the other awesome, sexy Storm covers that come out. I don't blame anybody for anything that they do when it comes to this book. Let's just make it last 12 issues. Oh, speaking of sexy covers, meow. Is that what you say? Meow. That's In Hook Lee, I do believe. And yeah, so Storm's getting, it's like you can't get that really on the inside too often. But there are some previews of books that are coming out that I think are really noteworthy when it comes to some of your favorite characters, or at least some of your favorite teams. So you're going to want to check them out. I got to do a show on that on some of the new books that are coming out. Next up, we got Deadpool. This is just a really cool cover. Says the guy who hates guns. But I mean, Jesus, I mean, his guns are shooting off of his like hips and whatnot. The variant is even better. So if you're a Deadpool fan, you might want to check this out. I do pretty well in this book. Amazing Spider-Man #1 and #2 are now sellouts. I only have the 1 in 25 variant for Amazing Spider-Man, maybe the Chris Giarrusso cover. So come in and get your Amazing Spider-Man 3 before it sells out. I did have some damages, so I'm going to have to let the company know, and I haven't done that yet. So It might be until like late next week when I get some replacements. If I should sell out, Joe Kelly's been doing a really good job. Love Pepe Larraz on art. Love Joe Kelly anyway. Any Men of Action not named Siegel is usually my favorite. Absolute Green Lantern #2. I really haven't heard a whole lot of great things about this book, like I have some of the other ones. And as far as the new Absolute books, which there's only like 2 of them right now, this seems to be kind of like the flagging one, if you can say that, 2 issues in. But I think what's going to happen is as people finish their 7th issues of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then the 2nd issue of Martian Manhunter, they're going to go in and get issues 1 and 2 of Green Lantern. Yeah. So there you go. That's what I think is going to happen. There's your bold prediction right there. Ultimate Wolverine #5 replaced regular Wonder Woman on the cigarette wall. So, I think highly of this book. Or maybe I don't think so highly of Wonder Woman. But the minute I did that, Wonder Woman sold out. So, it goes to show you what I know. But yeah, Ultimate Wolverine's been doing really well. 4, I think I have like 1 issue left, and that's been selling out too. Absolute Superman #7. Wow, word balloons on a cover. That's crazy. I've only ever read the first 2 issues. It's all right. I like Jason Aaron anyway, but I don't know. It feels kind of paint by numbers so far, as far as like the covers are concerned. But I do have people buying it, enjoying it, and hopefully I've adjusted the numbers correctly now, and it will be all but 1 sold out. X-Men #16 by Jed McKay. We've got new characters, it looks like. What? I'm 1 issue behind. I better jump on this now. Netho Diaz is the artist, and maybe he's like going to be the more regular person other than Ryan Stegman on the book. That's my guess. One of the books I'm really, really enjoying, and you can see it down below, one of the comic books I mentioned is JSA. I'm getting caught up, and I just finished the 5th issue. And man, this book is really, really, really good. Jeff Lemire, I love his writing. The art's really solid. It's very classic DC. So I can understand how some people might not be super excited by looking at Wildcat here. But Jeff Lemire usually tells really cool dude stories as far as like superheroes are concerned, regular stories are concerned. And, he just really knows how to speak to his audience. And he usually has a real, he has a delicate touch, but he knows how to like direct a good punch in the concrete wall kind of story. The Moon is Following Us. Daniel Warren Johnson writes and does art, as does Riley Rossmo. It's on its 9th issue, and I forget how many more there are. Maybe 1 more. So this might be the penultimate issue. I read the first 2. Thought it was really, really good. And it keeps trucking along. And I know it's going to be one of those books that I'm just going to sell afterwards consistently, as I am all Daniel Warren Johnson stuff. Maybe Marvel will like wise up and never let Beta Ray Bill go out of print again because it's just too damn good. Psylocke #7. I haven't been reading this, I got to admit. Definitely looking at Rogue and Ilyana Magic on the cover of Psylocke is like, appealing. I think I'd definitely pick up this issue. I'm sure there's a variant cover, so come on in. Hey, everybody. You want to know what Luke and Leia and Han are doing after Return of the Jedi? Boy, I hope I got that right. Maybe it's after Empire Strikes Back. Whatever. You're Star Wars fans and you love these characters, so come on back. Phil Noto's doing the art. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, number 316. Why, it has continuously been selling out for me lately. So I've had to up my numbers. Why don't you dare stop buying this? But yeah, I'm excited. I'm one issue behind, but I am, for the most part, pretty caught up. Speaking of catching up, Rick Remender and Brian Posehn and Brett Parson and Moreno Denizio finally finished 7th issue of Grommets. God, man, what is this, like 4, 5, 6 months late? I shouldn't say late, just 6 months and coming out. This is like a blast from the past, skate punk youth in Stockton, California. And it sings to me the minute I saw what a Taco Bell looked like back in the 80s, because, man, I remember Carl's Jr.'s where they had ashtrays. I remember McDonald's where they had ashtrays. I remember smoking in restaurants. I was a kid. I wasn't smoking. Sizzler. Bars. Again, I wasn't a kid then. Crazy. I mean, I used to fight against it in my mind, in my words, but not in my deeds. Anyhow, that's what Grommets is all about. Punk rock music and skateboards and braces on your teeth and awesome looking California girls, you know what I mean? Grommets. Fantastic Four Fanfare number 1. This is a 5-issue, I'm going to call it a mini series. It's going to have a lot of creators on it, and it's going to have, it's an anthology celebrating the Fantastic Four. Have you heard that there's a movie coming out called Fantastic Four? Why, this might have something to do with that. I hadn't thought of that. Well, I know there's some people that love Ben Grimm and his buddies. So definitely come on in and pick this one up, or I'm probably already pulling it for you. West Coast Avengers. Why, just like JSA, I am getting caught up on this book, and I am telling people and talking with people about how this book by Jerry Duggan and can't remember the person's first name, Kim, doing a fan-frickin-tastic job of telling one of my favorite superhero comics going on right now, West Coast Avengers. I highly recommend checking this book out. It's been, I mean, with my word of mouth and I guess people figuring it out, it's been selling out, and I've been reordering issues, and I already sold those out. So I'm really digging this book quite a bit. And if you have been reading it, you know what this cover is all about, and it's hilarious. This is kind of like in between West Coast Avengers from, back in the day and Justice League. And it's like slipped in between, but it's like taking on all the things that have to do with these characters in ways that it's really, really good. Excellent book. Can't wait to read this one. Vanishing Point number 1 came in, and this is by Mark Russell and Juan Doe. And wow, what a great first issue. I think the premise of this is a Mad Cave book, so they always look like quality books on the shelf. Science fiction, and it's like an anthology. So each issue is a long form science fiction story. And I don't know if there's going to be different creators or not, but this first issue was, wow, it was really powerful. And it was really, I didn't know that this episode was going to be so, at least in my, when I look back on the episode, I'll think like everything has been, it's all about branding. It's all about like that thing that you're putting out there. Unfortunately, my dog shit on my bed. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a really good book. I don't usually order books from other companies too often, especially when they run $6. What was I thinking? But there was something about Don't Run with Scissors that I thought people needed to know about. So I ordered it. You know, sometimes you read a solicitation, and even if it's from a company you don't think is really all that great, you still buy it anyway. And there's some cool covers, so there's that too. But it's not a full-throated endorsement, but we'll see how it goes. Now, this one, Los Monstruos, is written by James Robinson, who's been doing a bunch of really fun books for Dark Horse lately. He did Welcome to Mayville. He did Patra. And I can't remember what the other book he had done earlier was. But he's been doing a really, really cool job. And this is taking 50s Universal movie monsters, and they actually live in their own city in the USA. And Jesus Marino is doing the artwork. And Jesus Marino worked pretty closely with Carlos Pacheco. So, you know, it's already tugging at my heartstrings. And James Robinson definitely wrote one of the great series of the 90s in Starman. And if you've never checked that one out, I would recommend it. You can always get me to order it as long as it's in print. And definitely check this book out if you're into like movie monsters and like werewolf PIs. Blood and Thunder, number 1. I think this has somebody that's famous or wants to be famous or did something outside of comic books. So, of course, Image is putting a comic book out with them. Or I'm misrepresenting it. It was something that maybe it was Don't Run with Scissors. Regardless, Image is putting this book out. I showed Jill the cover, and I thought, oh, this is a pretty interesting cover, don't you think? And she said, is it common practice or is it a new thing to fucking hide the cover, or the words of the cover? And I was like, I could argue with her about this, but I don't disagree. This would be really splitting hairs. It is cool looking cover though. I do dig it. And it has something to do with like alien species in the far future and Earth's history and our, working with them. And then we're following some PI woman detective type character. Did I say that horribly? Space Ghost, Johnny Quest, Space Quest, written by a certain Joe Casey, who's going to be signing at our store June 25th. It's a guarantee as long as he isn't flying out of Newark. He won't be. Joe Casey writing Space Quest, so come on in and pick this one up, and then you can have him come on in and have him sign it too. It's Jeff Week, number 1. I'm not sure if this is the mini series or just a one shot leading up to the mini series, but I've listened to you people. I've listened to you and I understand where you're coming from. I got more than I normally would have ordered. You obviously love Kelly Thompson when she's writing Jeff the Shark. And who doesn't love Gurihiru? And I can only hope that that's Gustavo Duarte, even though I know there's another Duarte out there. And I'm not talking about the city I lived in as a child. But if it's Gustavo, this is definitely a reason to pick it up. But I know the only reason why you care these days is because of Marvel Rivals, regardless of what Tom Brevoort says. And lastly, we have Blood Squad 7, number 8, which I finished earlier today. This is the second part of the unveiling of the new Blood Squad 7 team to the world. And the Gang of Four, is that what they're called? The Gang of Four? Thankfully, in the very beginning of the issue, it shows you all the characters, all the players. So for the first time in this book, there is a roll call, if you will. Really appreciate that. And the guy who isn't diehard Man of War, he enters the fray, and it's fucking awesome. Let me tell you, it's violent, and there's so many really cool quips. And I just thought it was a really, really great issue. And I'm only flying him up so that he can sign all my Blood Squad 7s. So don't disappoint me and come on in, buy this issue, buy Blood Squad 7, because the best thing about Blood Squad 7, I want to let you know, is the letters pages, because it's deep. It's deep. You don't get letters pages like that anymore. Something that really references things. And I guess there's like a wiki or a page or whatever you want to call it, where they analyze comic books from the past and what the characters here represent in a because it's supposed to be Youngblood, but it's not Youngblood, it's Blood Squad 7. So it isn't quite the same thing that it's supposed to be, but it is, because all the things that those characters did in the early days of Image happened with the same characters like Spawn and Savage Dragon and like Shadowhawk. They all make appearances in flashbacks in earlier issues of this book. And like, if you're steeped in Image lore, early Image lore, because like the thing is like, so many people want, all right, this is how it usually works for people that read comics, got out of comics, and then came back to comics after a long time. I want to see what's new. All right, that's cool. That's a very healthy way to take a look at what comics are going on. I want to see what's new. Or I left, went to school, got a job, have this income, have these kids, have whatever. I want to get back into it because I liked it so much. And wow, it's changed so much. Well, it has. But one of the things that people have a problem with in comics is that things don't move on. And then when things do move on, then they have a problem with that also. So then we get these scenarios where Spider-Man can't get married, and people are upset about this. Well, we got an Ultimate Universe and Spider-Man is married and people are happy. So now we got a high-selling Amazing Spider-Man and we've got a high-selling Ultimate Spider-Man. But still people aren't happy that Peter Parker isn't married to Mary Jane. He's married to her over on this thing. What do you got a problem with that? Well, it isn't that one. Well, why does it fucking matter? You're reading the one that you want. We're all reading the ones. I get the one, this one, I get the one. People get really bent out of shape about these things. But it hasn't ever been addressed how these characters actually, they don't really progress. So Blood Squad 7, which is, again, Youngblood, but not, these characters have moved on. They've had kids. We have some of these kids in the program. We have some of the people from before in the program doing things behind the scenes or actually in the superhero team itself. There's the villains that have sons or daughters or whatever of them, of the previous ones, which aren't really the ones, but they are pretty much the ones. So it really doesn't matter. Coming up with a name is hard, and I think Joe's doing a pretty darn good job with that. Let me see if I can do this really quick. Yeah, this is what I want. All right. Oh, does that work? Okay, good. I'm bringing up some pictures, duh. That's why I can't do it right. All right, let's take this banner down. Let me say hi to you guys one more time. Does anyone eat at Carl's? Anytime I'm hunkering for one of those ultimate bacon cheeseburgers, yeah, that's the one. The Carl's, the Western Bacon Carl, the Western Bacon, yeah, that's the one. I've been digging JSA. Illithidor says, Dwayne Muth, JSA, boom. Mad Cave, is on my shit list after Murder Kingdom. I'll stick with Flash Gordon for now, but I won't get new titles that aren't by a creator I love. There's nothing wrong with that. They have a Peter Milligan one coming up soon, and I'm really excited about that. And I know how most people don't like Mark Russell, but Mark Russell is doing a book, and God darn, the last time I saw this person was on a Facebook post letting me know I suck. Friend, going to be doing the art, Ryan Alexander Tanner. I'm very, very excited to be buying that book. So there you go. Blood and Thunder sounds like a bad burrito. Talk to the dog. Not to be confused with Thor, Thud and Blood. Or Ron Mars, Jim Starlin, Thor crossover story, Thor, Blood and Thunder. Damn. Uncanny has new characters and they are developing them and people are mad. I like Uncanny. This is a Gail Simone book that I can get behind. Birds of Prey was okay, especially the beginning, the early ones. But she's usually, she gets off on doing villain books, you know what I mean? I like to really write the villains, Catman and all that shit. And it's too cute. She was doing Mystique at Marvel, and it's a lot of interior monologue and just stupid spy stuff, and it's not even really spy stuff. I shouldn't even have said that. It was just bad. But her Uncanny X-Men doesn't suck, and there hasn't been so much editorial overview that it isn't, there's only been that one story. It's been like 4 issues. 4 out of 13. I guess that's pretty good. For Marvel, that's really good. But I like the new characters. Not all are fun, but they're different, and it's like Uncanny X-Men, the new Mutants, pushed in one book, But you got Rogue and Gambit and Wolverine. It's pretty good. Yeah. So I agree, Spider Guy. I'm glad you're my customer. He buys books I don't like. I like books he doesn't get. It's that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. And I pay attention because there's a lot of people I know that are more like him. And yeah, there you go. Let's see if we can pull this one off. Speaking of Joe Casey.
Here! I'm down here! Down here!
Mr. Sheldon?
All right, Mother's Basement, everybody. Oh, shoot. I didn't want to turn the camera off yet. That would have been really cool. So, I found this place in Texas that would bind books for you. And anytime I have to learn to do something, this is before, YouTube was like it is now. I wouldn't really want to, partake in doing things that are, something I didn't know how to do, I guess. It's a lot easier these days. But my coworker, James, who also shares the same birthday as me. So we're birthday brothers, everybody. Just by many, many decades apart. But we both love Capital. Screw Diamond. Wildcats 3.0 came out when I was working at Comic Relief, and I really, really liked this book. And I thought, there's a really good chance this will never get collected substantially. It's not going to be Watchmen. Few books are. It's not Dark Knight Returns. It's not Knight's End. It's not Red Sun. Think of all the classic stories that aren't in collected form. And you're like, God, where is the Age of Apocalypse? I told you that Beta Ray Bill went out of print. I was like, oh, I should really get Beta Ray Bill. I can't believe I don't have this in stock. I can't believe they don't have that in stock. It's like one of the greatest Marvel comics that they have ever put out, Daniel Warren Johnson, like somebody that's hot, that people like his art, are willing to spend lots of money for his work, willing to follow him around company to company, willing to buy fucking Transformers. Let's be real. Transformers never sold like it's selling right now, ever. Not since I've been able to order comic books, and I don't think they were that great in the 80s either. Same thing with G.I. Joe. It's just it's not real that they were, like great sellers. So along with Automatic Kafka, never been collected. I got 1 through 24 of Wildcats 3.0, not signed. This one is not signed because I only took so many things to WonderCon, where Joe Casey was, and I have all the issues. So this is 12 issues, including advertisements. So let me show you a cool ad. Actually, ads weren't that cool back in the day, but sometimes they were about comic books. Promethea, Arkham Asylum, Living Hell. Ryan Sook, everybody. Let's see. Oh, here's some more. High Roads. Really great Francis Lennell artwork. Really shitty Scott Lobdell story. More Alan Moore comic books. He hated working for DC. You just know that. So it's like a lot of it's Wildstorm. That's why it's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's mostly DC or Wildstorm or video games, Metal Gear Solid. So I bound up all these books, and it's really great because if you go online to let's just say you're the kind of person that doesn't have a comic store around you, and maybe comic books aren't always available online to purchase, or maybe they aren't always available by the company to buy digitally. Most people will do something like that. It's not uncommon. So they find a nefarious way of finding a comic book. But that is when, and even on those other instances, you're not going to necessarily get the letters pages. And like I was saying about Blood Squad 7, I'm also talking about Wildcats. And it's not necessarily that there's letters pages, because Wildstorm, DC, they've eventually got rid of their letters pages, which really sucks. And one of the casualties was Wildstorm comic books. But at the end of every issue, or at least at the end of the first issue, I should say, Joe Casey has a little diatribe, and it kind of like introduces what the book is all about. Kind of like I was telling you about Matthew Rosenberg, what a fine job he did on We're Taking Everyone Down with Us. So I'm gonna read you just a portion of that, and maybe just expound on that just a little bit, at least like how I feel. Maybe I've like sorted it out in my head, or maybe it's just like some of the conversation I'm going to have with Joe when he comes on into the store. It's going to be like 3 to 6 o'clock, or 4 to 6 o'clock, something like that. 3 to 6 o'clock, 4 to. We're playing this by ear. We know the day. We're going to try and make this happen as best we can, and then get him on his plane back home. But we're going to talk about Wildcats #1. Joe was working on the book Wildcats 2.0, following again another shitty run of something by Scott Lobdell, but it had really, really great Travis Charest artwork. When Joe came on the book, Joe Casey, it wasn't Travis Charest that was on the book, but it was Sean Phillips. And Sean Phillips did some really, really great stuff on that book. And it really tied up everything that we knew about the Wildcats and kind of set up things for what we're going to be taking a look at right now. So the first page opens with Vietnam and people speaking Vietnamese. And there is a pretty familiar face. Well, firstly, let's just talk about the really awesome artwork by Dustin Nguyen before. I mean, he had done some stuff already, but this is like really, I think, one of the big breaks, showing how he's going to be going forward. and he's just a fantastic illustrator. This is Cole Cash. Is that his name? He's the grifter, and he's at a party, and these people are like, "What are you doing here?" He's all, "Well, I got something to tell you." He's all, "Have you ever heard of Jack Marlowe?" He's all, "Jack Marlowe," and he's like, "Let me get the book open." CEO of Halo. I have heard of this man. He's all, "We're discussing Marlowe's manufacturing needs." And he's all, "Is that what you're here for?" He's all, "Something like that." And he gives him his card. So Halo Corporation is the foundation that set up the whole Wildcats, trying to find all their alien brothers and sisters and the evil demons, the Daemonites. But that really doesn't matter. It's just a big old corporation now. Wildcats 3.0. We got this neat little spacey scene. And then we open in Washington, D.C., where this guy is getting dressed down by his boss. He's like, "You got some balls coming in here, walking in here, Wax, looking for losing an agent on assignment, then walking out on us because you had a so-called crisis of faith. And now you want back in?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna give you the shittiest job you can possibly get. Are you okay with that?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's all, expect a policy briefing on Friday. Brush up on your handwork." And he's all, "Welcome back to the National Park Service, Mr. Wax." And there he is. He's just walking away. So we're introduced to a new character here, if you're a Wildcats fan. And he's walking to his office, or office's cubicle, and he just says "fucking hell." And I think that's important that there's some cursing right there, because this is a different Wildcats. This is a different Wildstorm than we're accustomed to. Not Wildstorm because they will publish anything. They had America's Best Comic, which is Alan Moore's division of stuff. There was the horror movie stuff like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, I think they did, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and other things. And they would have creator-owned things like there was Palmiotti and Gray books. But this is Jim Lee's baby, right? And I don't believe there has been cursing. There has been wingdings, but not fucking. And really, in DC, until Vertigo came about, that wasn't even really much of a thing. And unless you're reading a Black Label, it's really not much of a thing. And it's really not much of a thing in a Black Label. And we know how it is for Marvel and their explicit titles, which are bagged. Explicit for blood, not cursing. We won't do that. All right, so dude's walking down the hallway. Let me see. Oh, wait, am I on the right? Oh, I'm way far off. Oh, I'm so sorry. Screwed that up. All right, he's getting dressed down. Why did I do that? Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, cool. So he's fucking hell. Got it. Halo Corporation, Los Angeles. We'll just clip that. Mr. Marlowe, it's 10:30. You're going to be late for your meeting. And he says, "Not likely." And then he's there in the meeting. He's in his suit, Jack Marlowe, and he's letting these people that are advertisers for these companies know that he's bought their company. And all of these people now work for him. And that 10:30 means 10:30 because you're on Halo time now. And then he goes into this conversation that he has with them. He says he takes the brand seriously. It will not simply be a matter of marketing. This company will now and forever live and die by the brand. The way the world perceives us is the utmost importance. When they think of Halo, they will think of quality, reliability, and compassion. And it's important that we know going into the series that what the world thinks of Halo is important. But there's going to be a whole bunch of shenanigans going on backstage, and that's the beauty of what we get to read in this book. And this is just laying all the seeds here. He says, consumers need brands they can trust as much as brands need them. The brand is everything. It is both the information we want to communicate to the world and the information we want to communicate despite ourselves. This is the journey we've begun. He says they're going to be paid handsomely, but he really, really hopes that they're not doing this for the money and that this is a company, and you got to understand, and that's part of what I kind of have a feeling about when we're going to talk about the words at the end. This was written in 2002. He says we're entering we are the 21st century company. We are in the precipice, and you're going to be a part of it. And he's all, let's do this. All right. Going back to Vietnam, and oh my goodness, this woman flies out the building. She's naked. She lands on this car, and there's Grifter saying, Jesus, real mature. And he's like super nude with his gun. It's just smoking. Here he is in his place. It's all been messed up, and he's calling headquarters, and he's like, I need to get out of here now. This person was an assassin, and the dude's like, all right. Just let you know it's Jack. Jack's like, all right, well, let me send you. He's like, wait a second, I'm not, and he's like naked right in front of his hotel. So I have a video I want to play you. But in just a second. Cole Cash goes into his building that he has a room in. He says, I've got a room here. And here he's cussing under his breath about Android's sense of humor. And he says, hey, folks, how you doing? And he walks down his hallway, doesn't have his key, kicks in his door, gets in his apartment, opens a suitcase, starts putting his stuff together, fuels up his gun, and says, what does he say? He says, showtime. And I was thinking to myself, that's really funny. That's really reminiscent of a scene in a movie that I thought was pretty cool. And hopefully I have it right here. 44 Seconds of Greatness. Showtime. That's what he said. He said showtime. All right. Walking down the hallway is Wax. And he has this guy that's in front of a computer. And he says, Jesus, what the hell are you doing here? And then Wax's speech balloon is different. And he said, don't worry. You won't even remember that I'm here. And the guy repeats it. I won't remember. He's all, now, if you just get up, I'll be spending a few minutes browsing this classified database. And he says, just stand there quietly. And he gets some information. So Wax, what's this guy all about? Back to L.A., and Jack Marlowe is talking to his accounting firm, or his members of his accounting firm that he just purchased. And he lets them know that they are working for him. And he wants to know everything that these guys think. And they're talking about factories in other countries that they've purchased. He's also talking about diversifying their spreadsheet, talking about the other guy, the younger looking guy. the less tubby looking guy, the black guy, he says, also, if we would take your company and go public, we could really be making a fortune. And Jack's like, we're not going to be going public at all. And he says, this is a privately owned company. It always has been and will remain so. So that's pretty interesting because the owner of the company was Jacob Marlowe back in the old Wildcats days. And, he was Lord Emp from Off-World. They also talk about his uncle here, and Jack's like, there will be no more discussion of my uncle. So that's what he is. Can we get back to the factories, Mr. Marlowe? You remember the preliminary list? There were some questionable reports concerning Indonesia and Vietnam. Beautiful segue right back into Vietnam, and Grifter's doing what Grifter does best. He's blowing up shit. And he's got these child labor kids, slave labor, and he's got this American businessman at gun length, and he says, oh no, he's not even an American, he's a Vietnamese guy. He's all, you think you've achieved some victory here? I can tell by your accent, you Americans so blind to your own hypocrisy. Think about this. Who do you think hired me to run this factory? Who do you think buys these shoes? Who demands them? Who seeks out the cheapest method to manufacture them? Have you ever asked yourself those questions, you smug son of a bitch? Yeah, people. Who moves those companies? Who does that? Grifter says, nah, but again, I don't wear Strikeys or Nikes. He's all yours, girls. And the kids go at them with all the scissors and threading needles and I guess stuff that they have. Go back to Washington, D.C., and we've got a crazy scene where there's like hookers and dudes that have been with them, and they're all dressed in like cosplay or something. And then in comes Wax, and that'll be great. So what does he say? I guess there was like a superhero or something that rushed in. That's about right. His name is Vic Laser. Used to be some low-level costume or was a villain. Now he's got some sort of domestic terror agenda against superheroes. This would have been his 12th bombing. Guess he couldn't resist sampling the merchandise first. And then the guy's like, Wax, that's cool, but you could have emailed this to me. He's like, well, I was right across the street. So I figured I might as well just bring it. And then, of course, he's getting a phone call. He's all, is that me? And the guy's all, yeah, I think it's you. And so he takes his phone call, and it's his boss telling him, like, what the fuck are you doing out there? You're not supposed to be anywhere. Like, this is your first week, and you already got a mark on your permanent file. And he's all, this is the last time I want to hear about your performing unauthorized actions in the field. You're on desk patrol. Don't forget that. He's all, I won't, sir. And then he can see that he's using his power here to drop him off in the corner. And it's this bar. And we've got Grifter sitting down. And we've got Wax joining him. And Grifter lets him know right off the bat, if you even think about trying your mind stuff, you're in the shit. He's all, well, I appreciate the warning. He's all, let me tell you about some stuff. He's all, an FBI agent is missing in action. They're trying to keep it quiet, which might mean nothing. But Mr. Marlowe wants us to find him. God knows why. And they're talking about that. And he's all, Wax says, let me change the panel. From the few conversations we've had, I get the feeling he's zeroed in on a very specific agenda. And I like what Grifter says. He's like, better drink that before it goes flat. So they're working in cahoots. There's more to it than that, but we'll get to it another time. It leads into the conversation about CC Rendoza. Cue the Florida Keys. Cue this guy being brought in. There's a bunch of guns and everything. And there's this lady saying, there's been enough electronic foreplay to make us both numb. You know my reputation. I'll make deals no one else will touch if you're willing to betray superiors of the intelligence community. And this guy is. He hands over this disc. She hands him over a big old case. And she's all, not so fast, Mr. Carver. Something you should know. I cut a deal with the spooks you work for. They knew you were in the business of selling secrets. And then she blows his brains out. She's all, clean that up. Yes, ma'am. And then she says, we'll see if this information's worth a damn. And then she has this picture of her kid on the desk. And then we see this commercial. And it's commercial. I'm going to just read it to you. Well, what's the matter, Tom? Well, Bill, I just can't find a battery that doesn't die on me the worst time possible. We can put a man on the moon, but we can't make a battery that lasts forever. I just love the transitions that we have in this book. And here we have this commercial. And it's not Ladytron that we know from the Alan Moore Wildcats. It's Babytron. They branded the character. Selling Halo brand batteries. Halo brand batteries? I'm not aware of them. I'm glad you asked. Halo batteries contain a world of difference. And they're talking about no more built-in obsolescence like you get with those other brands. Through strict chronal, blah, 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 brand batteries will last forever. That's right. Forget K-line cells or those so-called rechargeable batteries. You'll never need another one of them again. And the battery that lasts forever, guaranteed. And that is the last page of Wildcats #1. And it's quite a series. I highly everybody check that book out if you can get your hands on it. Joe writes here, you people aren't just readers, you're consumers. And when I wanted to work in comics or when I wanted to write, I wanted to do something for people to consume. I always knew that, there's the element of that. There's the beast that feeds it. There's the company. I still, even in the small amount, it's always in the store also. Anyway, he talks about all the things we consume. And I mean, it's a long list of things. And he says I should go on. But I think you get the idea. I'm just going to read a few things because it's kind of quaint. Soft drinks, fast food, sitcoms, CDs, DVDs, designer jeans, DU camcorders, stereos, running shoes. Skip ahead. Video games, microwave ovens, steak knives, candy bars, and on and on. How special do you feel? In the so-called democracies of the world, you vote for your leaders and entrust them to make your life better. In actuality, the power of democratic government pales in comparison to the sheer influence of entities like the World Trade Organization, the International Chamber of Commerce, the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the European Roundtable of Industrialists, or the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. The true power resides not in the modest offices of locally and nationally elected officials, but in the opulent bedrooms of the world's biggest corporations. At this very moment in the major global capitals, these corporations and the CEOs who runs them are slowly shaping a new world, a world where these same corporations exist and operate more freely than we. As individuals, we are often allowed to. They freely than we, as individuals, are often allowed to. Let me just read that one more time. They can. Corporations are people, my friend. And the best part is we welcome their influence, and that's us, right? We even pay for it out of our own pockets, right? Anytime we wear something that's branded, right? We continue to buy what they are selling without hesitation and with little regret. He's talking about how corporations, if they desired, could really influence us going forward in the future. And You know, I'm not getting all preachy or anything, but I think we see a lot of that right now. I do think that. And maybe the naivete in that, and I didn't read the whole thing, is that corporations wouldn't put themselves in a position to lead. I mean, we had a system that was supposed to be set up for, to try and prevent that. I mean, it's always a wall that's being butted up against, of course. And why shouldn't a rich person be able to run for something, right? They're rich, right? But we put a lot of emphasis on people and corporations and products, and I like this, I don't like that, or I can't like this because this person likes that. And that's not what Fantastic Comics is all about. Not at all. It is almost the end of the show, and I want to let everybody know that we have a Patreon page. It's Fantastic Comics, just like all our social media, but we really only have Instagram and YouTube. Yeah, that's what we do. Oh, Substack. Follow us on Substack. That's free. But if you want to put money in the till, you can do that by. There's a number of ways on YouTube, but the best way is Patreon. If you don't have some company that hates that company or that product or that brand that hates that brand, then if you don't hate us. No comments. Good. I hope our boys won. There was one though. Uncanny and X-Men have new characters. I think having a couple OGs with them was the right way to do it. I'm not mad. Yeah, me too. I'm loving Cyclops. He still has that militant aspect, but trying to get a long way now. So he's progressed his character to try and be able to revolve back into the way he is. We got Beast trying to be a person he wasn't, since he got kind of rebooted to the past. And I'm really happy because I hate that Beast. And yeah, Quanon. I mean, we got sexy Psylocke, but it's not Psylocke, and yeah, who even knows about that character anyway? But yeah, they have some cool things going on in both those books, and they're not suck at all. Thank you everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. This 153. That's way too long. Thank you very much. I'm going to play a video on the way out because that's what I do, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.